it really sucks being in the position that I'm currently in, both ethnically, religiously, intellectually. I was in the middle of editing my Shroud of Turin video, part 2, and writing a video actually on the Epstein files, criticism of Israel and how to not be anti-Semitic. And then this happened, and I think it's very interesting and enlightening, so I'm gonna go over it, right? So, Anna Kasparian was a left-wing commentator who, is pretty critical of Israel and so on. So she starts this thread, which is a reply to Joel Berry, and I have no idea who that is. Tucker, like 80% of the country, doesn't want to go to war with Iran on Israel's behalf. Now, I don't know if there's any valid evidence that we're going to war with Iran, or that we're doing it on Israel's behalf. From what I understand, Israel would not want to go to war with Iran. But, I suppose an argument could be made that it is in their best interest to get rid of Iran, too. Both are probably fair points to make. I like that. Less pointless war is good. Then 42 replies, make the Goyim unwake up. And Anna laughs at this. Now, historically, the word Goyim has two contexts. One that's derogatory and one that's descriptive. And it really depends on the context in which it appears. The descriptive, both versions mean someone who is not Jewish, but depending on the context in which it appears, it can be derogatory and it cannot. Sometimes it's just a formal descriptor, right? The fact that she laughs at this tells me that she has anti-Semitic leanings, which is just nuts to think about. Coming out as an anti-Semite, Anna, Sonny replies, and Hyperrot says, where the F did Anna blame Jews in the comment, you absolute R-word? Many of the Epstein elite and the extremists in Israel use the term because they are effing ethno-supremacists, because that is what Zionism is at its... I don't know if I would agree that Zionism is ethno-supremacist at its core. You could say that it's a pro-ethno-state ideology, though. I think that's fair. There is something to be said about Jewish supremacists using the word goy as a derogatory term for non-Jews. But then again, these Haredi Jews, they say all kinds of crazy stuff that most Jews don't agree with. It's the caricature that's the problem. There's a reason why portraying a black person eating watermelon is bad. Because it's a caricature. So then Sonny replies, make the Goyim is not criticism of Israel or Epstein, which is absolutely true. There's no criticism of Israel or Epstein. Goyim is used by the freaks I just talked about to shit on those who see as inferior, which includes many among the masses. It's a pretty pathetic attempt to buy Anna some plausible deniability. And it's a pretty pathetic to ignore there are Jewish people who are ethno-supremacists. Sure, but the way the conversation goes seems to suggest that most of them are ethno-supremacists. Most of them would be saying this. That's the problem. Make your effing graphs at straws. Take a look at Anna's feed. She's literally reposted a couple stuff recently condemning the conflation of Jews with Israel. And yet here we are, conflating Jews with Israel. I'm not convinced. So what? I've heard Nick Fuentes says he's not a racist, so I guess his other statements about locking up every black male no longer counts. Nick admitted to being a racist and regularly tries to justify why. And here Anna is replying to an obvious anti-Semite about the Goyim waking up. Only anti-Semites talk like that. And then we get to the infamous tweet. Hey bitch, the Goyim are waking the F up. Deal with it. Wow. So, Anna basically has gone full mask off. She's a Jew hater. That's what this is. She's a Jew hater. Okay? I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret, being Jewish myself. No normal Jew talks like this. Okay? This is a straw man caricature of a Jewish supremacist. So the idea that anyone would feel comfortable talking like this is the proof that they're a Jew hater. Okay? Ironically, I've seen more Gentiles describe themselves as goy than anyone else. And speaking of which, Gentile is the normal term for a non-Jewish person, typically. At least in English. I'm not familiar with Hebrew. They probably do just say goy, because Gentile and goy are probably the same word. But that's beside the fact. Okay? I've seen infinitely more non-Jews use the term goy than Jews have. And it's quite upsetting, because as someone who went from the far right to the center, who went from hating Anna when they were on the far right to being in the center, and then seeing this is just straight up upsetting. It's like if Mr. Rogers was recorded saying the N-word. It would completely destroy all of your... I mean, I don't view Anna the same way I view Mr. Rogers, but I hope you get the point when I say that. It's almost indescribable to think about. But I think it's highlighting a very serious problem in that the far left is essentially becoming populist and partisan with the far right. And this is exactly how Hitler got into power during World War II. The original fascists got in bed with the communists and the socialists, and when they got into power, the first thing they did was purge the communists and the socialists. So the far left thinks that they're going to nat a win by being populist. They're not. The Nazis are going to win again, and they'll just purge you like they did last time. And this kind of sort of throws a big old monkey wrench in the video that I wanted to make on the Epstein files, because part of the original point that I was going to make is that it's possible to criticize Israel while not being anti-Semitic. But now that I think about it, I can't think of a single person I know of who criticizes Israel who isn't a Jew hater at this point. Do they exist? I guess I can think of two. Myself and Destiny are people critical of Israel while not being Jew haters. But, I think most people would agree with me that that's not a particularly good sample size. And nobody really cares what I have to say anyway. I run a small channel, and, I'm just some random earth scientist, so why would you care? But, this is just... this is just absolutely unhinged. I can't believe we're living in a universe where this is the end point of it all. And just look at the reply. This one's actually pretty funny, right? But, the people... everyone is just completely shocked. Anti-Semitism is alive and well, ladies and gentlemen, and Anna is the newest person to join them. Honestly, now that I'm doing some critical thinking about it, it's not that much of a shock, now is it? She's an Islamic dhimmi for an Islamist propagandist in Cenk Uyghur, who named his media company after the Turkish government that committed the Armenian genocide. Is this an actual surprise? I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm being unreasonable. Maybe I'll get totally cooked for making this video. Who knows? Anything can happen at this point. I can tell you one thing. Anna Kasparian being an anti-Semite was not on my bingo card for this year. Then again, neither was the eating children bit in the Epstein files. Guys, it's not even 3 months in, and the place is just going nuts. Everything's just going nuts. Ugh. Elucidating the Shroud of Turin Part 2 coming soon. I think that Epstein video probably just isn't going to get released because what's there to say about it that hasn't already been said? And the points I wanted to make about criticizing Jews and not being anti-Semitic are basically invalid. You know, it seems as though the case most certainly is that you can't criticize... No, not that you can't. But 99% of people who do try and criticize Jews are incapable of doing so without being anti-Semitic. And honestly, as a Jewish person who is critical of other Jews myself, I find that to be very upsetting. Just some food for thought.